What's up everyone, Jeiku back with another Season of Discovery video. Today we're talking about the fastest way to possibly level your pet in Phase 3 as a level 50 hunter. I'm going to show you two options. They're both dungeons, solo farming dungeons, Uldaman and Zul'Farrak. One of them is better than the other, one of them is easier to do than the other and a little bit more accessible for some players. Across all the different activity options you can choose to level your pet, solo boosting your pet in a dungeon like Uldaman or Zul'Farrak is by far the fastest way to level your pet. Before we jump into the actual farms, I just wanted to run through some talent stuff really quick. In Phase 2, I would have told you to grab Clever Traps and Trap Mastery from the survival tree and really kind of build more of a, crowd control and better trap damage build, but that's just not necessarily necessary or even the most efficient here in Phase 3, as we do have lock and load unlocked, making Explosive Shot way more relevant as our DPS for this. So the talents you're looking at here are pretty much the standard talents you'd be running for any normal build, and then for the runes you see some standard stuff, but we're using TNT, Explosive Shot, and Lock and Load to really just amplify our AoE damage, with Explosive Shot being the bulk of what we're using to kill here. The only deviation of talents that I would consider is for Zul'Farrak specifically. I would consider grabbing 3 points into Hawkeye rather than 4 points into Improved Hunter's Mark. So remove a few points there, put him in Hawkeye for additional range, and it's actually quite nice for the Zul'Farrak farm. So let's start by talking about the Uldaman farm. This is a level 40 dungeon that you could farm as a 40 hunter. So as a 50 hunter, it's easy peasy. And, the things that we need to look at here is the fact that we have mobs that are ranging between, 39, 40, but then they get up towards like 43 and 45. The big thing you need to look out for is mobs that are gray are not going to give you any XP. Most of those are going to be non-elites, so they're just going to die with no consequence, really. You don't have to worry about them being in your way or anything. And then you just want to focus on picking up as many elite enemies as possible to kill them for XP. And trust me, this does give your pet a lot of EXP. So here I'm killing just this small 3-pack of dwarves, and this is not efficient. This is not a pull that we want to be doing, but my pet is so low of a level that he currently has dash trained, but his loyalty is too low to gain prowl. As soon as our loyalty reaches a high enough point where we can train dash and prowl, we have enough points for that, we just want to skip all of these first enemies. So to show you what that looks like, this is me coming back with a pet that has learned prowl and dash at this point, and you can actually stand right up the top of the stairs. You can go up even a little bit further if you want, cast Eyes of the Beast, and we're going to take our cat to walk down the hall while stealth. We're going to sneak by all of these enemies. You can do this at level 40. You could do it with even probably like a level 38, 39 pet. And then once you get past that one dwarf there, you can actually break stealth and head on down the tunnel. And this is the path you want to do for all of the pulls. Like I said, if you do not have prowl to sneak by those original mobs, you have to kill them. Otherwise, you're running down the hallway. Now, those bats, they're going to be great to you. They're not going to give us any XP. But the scorpions will give a little XP. They're not elites, but all of these guys in the back, they're the ones that are going to yield a lot of experience because they are elites and they're green still, so they're 43. You want to try to pull this whole room if you can. My cat is 50 at this point, so he's a little bit tankier than he might have been otherwise. But once you do that pull, you're just going to wait for all the enemies to come back to you. While you wait, go ahead, revive your pet, and then eventually the enemies will return. All right, so once you have your pet resurrected, the enemies will make their way back. Eventually, we're going to throw down a frost trap on the left side at the corner there or on the bottom of the stairs, but you don't want to spread out your frost trap. You really want to keep that trap in that corner where the mobs will be pathing up and down. From there, we're really just kind of getting them to rotate between left and right. We're jumping down, we're casting our traps, we're casting our explosive shot. Once in a while weaving in a multi-shot, but explosive shot, explosive trap, and frost trap are really our priorities for abilities here. Sometimes these casters will get kind of degrouped, and it's not that big of a deal as a 50. At 40, it got quite scary, but as a level 50, you can kind of deal with it. And you can even throw your pet in there to help them deal With this, just make sure you don't have anything like growl turned on because you don't want your pet to die. Your pet is here for experience and experience only. So just keep on DPSing everything down and your pet will get juicy XP. You might have noticed that I have a special cast bar on the side showing me when the fireballs are being cast by all the casters in this group. I will link that weak aura in the description. This single Pulll was worth about 40% of a cat's level. But after doing a few levels in Uldaman, I said, okay, let me try Zul'Farrak and see how the Graves, which are a notorious speed leveling, boosting strategy in all versions of WoW, I wanted to see how much XP that actually would get us. So unlike Uldaman, where you pull all the enemies to the entrance, we actually need to run through Zul'Farrak here. There's a million more in-depth guides you could watch on how to do this, but basically you just want to mount up, run by enemies. If anything aggroes you, try to jump in turn so that you're facing them when they're swinging to attack you to reduce your chance of being dazed. As a hunter, you can find quiet spots as a level 50 and feign no problem. You definitely have flexibility and options that other classes may not have. There are other reset points as well where enemies would leash on you further back, but again, if you can feign in a corner, do that instead. But really, where you're trying to get is up on this platform. I suggest getting off your mount for doing this jump and then getting on this platform. Other classes need to wait in the corner and reset. We can just feign at this point. The enemies will all go away. And then you just want to make sure that you're bandaged up here. And the next step is to start summoning the Graves. Now, you actually need to activate the boss. He'll say, "How dare you?" And once you activate him, that'll actually make it so that every time you open a grave, all of the enemies will just run straight to the boss rather than attacking you. Where I'm standing right now, that's a reset point. Go there until all of the mobs unleash on you. Do the same thing again. Drop a frost trap right here and then get back up on to this other reset point. We're really just trying to open up as many graves as possible. So we're waiting for the reset. You could feign here. I was just kind of doing it the way everyone else does. My frost trap is actually triggering and maybe keeping some of them active. I'll put my normal weak aura pack, which has that trap indicator on there. So since the trap was still active, they were hitting it, but it does really help you survive in that situation because they could run up and daze you. Put another one down in the same area because it works out nicely. Open up as many graves as possible. And now we can climb. Jump up on the skull, jump over. There's a glitch spot in the corner. Get on the corner. And we're actually now looking to get ready to actually do the real pull. So I'm going to feign, get everyone back in their reset spots, and then throw an explosive trap down so that we aggro the enemies, jump over these obstacles, and then we just need to make sure that we aggro as many packs as possible because any of these guys left behind, they won't come to us. So we're going to want to make sure that we hit all the groups, get as many of them as possible. So you see they're starting to come up the side there. We're using Aspect of the Cheetah and jumping back and forth and letting the enemies rotate from basically trying to get to me from either side here. Earlier, I mentioned that I like Hawkeye, the additional 6 yards of range, and that comes into play because we can shoot them from super far away. We just checked out my pet's XP, even just watching this VOD and commentating over it. I didn't see what it said, but we'll break that down later. But yeah, we're just kind of blasting with explosive shot. And the mobs will start to increase in speed. This is some kind of anti-boosting thing Blizzard has done where they don't want you to be able to just crowd control mobs to make them super slow forever. In Uldaman, that was not a problem. We could just use our frost trap and make all those enemies super, super slow. But here, they're really starting to move fast. Like, yes, this video is sped up a little bit, but they are hauling butt. But it's really no big deal. With Aspect of the Cheetah, it's super simple to jump back and forth, left and right here. And you will eventually run out of mana, but you just saw it there. Rewind the clip if you didn't see it. I put Viper on and I used one explosive trap and my mana went from like 30 to 100%. Swap back to Cheetah, rinse and repeat. It's insane at how efficient Hunter is for these kind of pulls, with the fact that Viper with one explosive trap completely refills our mana bar. It's kind of game breaking and I love it so very much. But just keep doing this until you kill these. And Not only is your pet going to get a ton of XP, but you're going to make a lot of gold by doing this, because Mage Weave should have a great value this early in phase 3, and you'll get a lot of Mage Weave from doing this. Lots of greens that DE well. Make sure you have a second character that can DE. Just mail all of these to an alt that has enchanting. You need like enchanting level 10 or something to disenchant things. It's like negligible. So make sure you're disenchanting your greens, sell those enchanting mats, make lots of money, and get your pet leveled to 50 as fast as possible. Oh, but you want to know the results of how much experience you got from that Pulll? Well, my pet was just shy of 44 during that Pulll. So I pulled up that XP during the Pulll, and after the Pulll, he was 44% into level 45. So almost a level and a half of experience from doing the ZF Pulll. So there's no debate. Pulling in Zul'Farrak, solo pulling in Zul'Farrak at the Graves is by far the fastest way you can level your pet in Season of Discovery Phase 3. Thanks for watching the video. Stay tuned for more content, like and subscribe, and leave a comment if this helped you out. GG's.